and say like our IGL goes quiet and doesn't really say much, and we're like, we're trying to play slow like this. What'll probably happen is this person who's like, supposed to just stay still and watch is just gonna try to make a solo play, and they'll end up dying when they shouldn't have. You need to instill confidence in your teammates so that they feel like they don't have to make a crazy play in order to win the game. Let's get into it. All right. So I have a couple clips here from Mr. Fanatic Boaster that I want to look at.
Difference between a good IGL and a top tier amazing IGL. The difference between a good IGL and a top tier IGL is solely based on a few things. In terms of an IGL, what is an IGL? I think it's about being, obviously it says in-game leader, but you need to be able to control your emotions. You need to be able to control the team's emotions. You need to set an example for the team. Strategically, you need to be setting an example for how much work people put.
So Boaster's not even talking about the game. He's talking about all the like the game they're actually playing. He's just talking about you as a teammate. And if you want to be a leader on a team, you need to be an example to follow. And if you aren't leading by example, then it's hard for your teammates to respect you and trust you whenever you make maybe a questionable call. Like when I was playing, I didn't always agree with my IGL, but I always do it because I trusted his commitment to the game and his respect of his teammates and all that stuff. Let's watch another one for Boaster.
Any tips for IGLing my own team? If you want to IGL your own team, make sure you have the structure in place and then do some IGLing. And make sure that you stay positive as positive as you can, and make sure there's no negativity going on in practice. Because that will seep into the real games as well. So you don't want negativity will lose you more games than it will ever win you. Mentality over everything else. And then skill, obviously. But skill, obviously, you need a high skill. But if someone's a toxic person, I would tell them, give them a warning, and then they'd potentially be on the kick.
The number one issue I see with beginner IGLs is that they are too easily influenced by negative outcomes in a match. Whenever there's a negative outcome, if that affects you and you can't forget it, then you will lose confidence, go quiet, and just hope to God somebody else takes over and just does it for you. Like if you're too easily influenced by these outcomes, or like maybe somebody on the enemy team gets a 1v5 clutch and it's just like a thrown round from our perspective. If there's no one there to refocus the team or bring up teammates if they make a mistake, then it's just going to create this horrible environment. If you were affected by that and you're an IGL, your team will not be able to listen to you, and it'll be like a snowball effect where one bad thing happens that affects you, and another bad thing happens because you weren't focused, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So the first thing, first and foremost, is mental. You need to focus on the task at hand, like we always tell you, focus on the task and just execute, right? And then you can be sad after the game if you lose, okay? But you don't get to be sad in the moment, okay? Do not be sad in the moment, because it's kind of like sharks can smell blood in the water. Like if you as a leader show like like you're unhinged emotionally, then they will start to do their own thing. And like for example, let's just say here, like we're calling a default, and say like our IGL goes quiet and doesn't really say much, and we're like, we're trying to play slow like this. What'll probably happen is this person who's like, supposed to just stay still and watch is just going to try to make a solo play, and they'll end up dying when they shouldn't have, right? So you need to instill confidence in your teammates so that they make they feel like they don't have to make a crazy play in order to win the game. The second biggest issue I see with IGLs is they try to overcook. Okay, what they do, I'll kind of give an example. Let me just make up a scenario where I'm IGLing. So I might say, in this example here, we're over here in buy phase, right? And I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna start B, but then actually we're gonna rotate through the TP, and then we're gonna fight A, and then we're actually gonna TP back onto B. We're gonna get on site. When we're in post plant, we're gonna hold crossfires, and then actually we might aggro elbow. So just make sure you have enough utility when we get into post plant. So what was the issues with the IGLing, the pre-round calls?
Too much.
Very fast.
Too fast. too much information to all take it
Also,
like
like you
once.
don't take anything that can happen end game. We think we're gonna end up on B, and that there's gonna be enough of us that we're gonna aggro something or something. But like there can happen anything during the round.
Yes.
There's like already things set up for way too late in the round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people try to sound smart by or they try to um they use talking fast and saying a lot as a crutch for like a loss in confidence or like a bad mental. You know what I mean? So like what I was talking about earlier where you need to be like confident. Well, that doesn't mean you just want to fill the void with just a word salad, you know? Like you want to have specific simple things that your teammates can actually do and they know what they're doing. Because it's not just your teammates know what to do, it's that they have the ability to adapt on their own. So like if we're running a default like this, if the enemy team goes aggro short, right? This Vice should have enough like confidence in the play to know whether to fight or to leave, and then calm to the team, and then the team can make decisions, right? But if you like go uber specific and tell the Vice you need to stay a short the entire round because we need that space, and then they end up just getting pushed and die, right? When they could have left. Like you want to give your teammates the ability to make their own smaller decisions while you still have like kind of a more macro like plan. And the thing is, like you said, things change. Maybe the enemy team, they have an alt play that they do where they push with like a raise ult down B long or something, or they push down showers, or maybe they're playing super far back like we haven't seen them play before. Things need to change on the fly. So everyone needs to like you need to be able to change your plan in the mid round. So that being said, there's 3 different parts of the round, like 3 different time ranges basically. Does anyone know what those are? Like how we break up rounds in Valorant?
I think I know.
Why?
Round.
Like
Yeah.
pre-round, mid-round, and post-plant.
Yeah. So I kind of just bring it down actually to just mid round, and then like in mid round I also there's kind of post plant as well. But one that people forget is this post round. So there's different comps that need to go in each of these different buckets here. Okay, pre-round is going to be what comp should be in the pre-round?
That's try we're gonna do, and like communication teammate by teammate about like who's gonna do what for themselves, kinda.
Yeah. Let's look at this. We used this before. This kind
Yeah.
of breaks it down. But we have like end of round, player spawn, and then the round start at mid round, right? And end of round, well, we'll go over that in a minute. But in the pre round, like we're in buy phase, IGL is gonna call the play, and then after that, players are gonna ask the IGL questions or recommend smaller things. And then after that, players are going to talk to each other about what they want to do. So like for an example, in like bind, it would be IGL would call, okay guys, we're going to default B, get long control, Viper and Vice just hold the pushes. And then after that, a raise would be like, hey, I want to get my orb B long, maybe we use that for a push. And they're like, okay, cool. And then raise is also going to be like, fade, instead of eyeing me, just dog up here because they've been fighting it more. Dog. Those are the there's like 3 things you could do. You know, there's the IGL call stuff. The player says to IGL something, and then the players talk more specifically like what util needs to be used in order to achieve the goal, right? So that's the pre-round. Let's see. Let's go to this now. So let's look at the actual call itself. So players all need to shut up when the IGL is talking, okay? Like when the buy phase starts, unless you have important information that's going to affect the call, like you need to just let the IGL talk. And IGL, you need to talk. Like you need to have a plan, or at least like you can't just sit there silent. Really, um, it's kind of a balance because you don't want to sit there silent, but you also don't want to just throw out random crap that you haven't thought about. So you can ask something like, did we see where the trip was, or where was Cypher? And then you can figure out a plan after that. But basically, IGL is going to call stuff. It's going to be in this order: big picture, positions, and then specifics. So we start with the idea. It's like, aggro B, then we're playing retake on A, just very, um, very broad. Like, okay, we're going to default, and then I don't really want to commit B, so we might go back A. Like, that's kind of like, okay, now we're just defaulting. So you start with that, and then you talk positions. So we called default. Now we need to say, okay, this time, Vise, I want you to hold showers instead of short. Or this time, Brim, I want you to go mid with Viper, and you guys walk up to hookah, try to take a fight. So we have big picture, positions, and then specifics. And specifics is like in this scenario, it would be like, if you don't see anything on A, any aggro on A, just come back and group with us. So to bring that all together, we call something like, okay, guys, let's default B. This time, Brim, I want you to go with Viper and take a fight hookah. And Vise, if you don't see anything in the first few seconds, just pivot to B. That's a good calm, and then that leaves enough time for your teammates to talk about whatever they need to talk about. Any questions so far? Okay, and moving on. Again, you want to keep it as simple as possible. If you overcomplicate what util is going to be used, like that's not really your place as an IGL as much. It's more like the players who are doing the play should more talk about that stuff like right when the round's about to start. So that's important. And then also another point that they do, which is really good here, is like take B long. You could say take B long or take hookah, but you don't have to dictate what util is used. It's kind of, you want to give that freedom to your players unless you have like something very specific in mind, like you saw in opening, right? And like the weakness of the defender setup. So, okay, let's look at an example of how it's done. So I am not IGLing. It's actually my teammate Piggy here. So he will be talking in the buy phase. I'm gonna suggest something to the IGL, and then he's gonna figure out a strat based off that. Okay, so let's watch.
I went off solo. Do you want to get B control?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get B control, we'll get the ult, and then we'll make a call from there. We'll probably, I think back in this time, they're gonna probably show Viper ult something here. We might do the kitchen play late if they Viper ult.
Alright.
Are you getting your orb, Blake?
Yeah, mine. Or doing like Cadence.
No.
I think we get your
Wait,
plant
wait,
though. You
Kaden,
pick
we
up
get
bomb.
Kaden. No, get Kaden.
Alright.
Because
I'll
they
take
have
bomb
chamber
later
up.
then.
Because they have chamber up, we get Kaden.
Yeah.
One thing you might have missed is there was a little like, not disagreement, but like confusion in whose orb we should get. And the IGL came in immediately and was like, wait, I want KO's orb. And that figures out that thing, so now we know what to do. But before that, the pre-round strat, he calls something very simple, like, okay, guys, we're going to default B, and then we're going to get the orb, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. So he's calling like a simple pre-round thing and relying more on the mid-round. Now, when it comes to mid-rounding, that basically means calling rotates, calling post-plant setups, calling if you want to aggro in a post-plant. It could be if you want to like send up some util to fake and then hit another site. Mid-rounding, it just comes down to like having, a clear voice and also patience in a way. You got to know when to, like if you get an opening kill, for example, sometimes the right play is to cut noise and chill. Sometimes the right play is to execute off that kill on that opening and push. Both can work, but your team needs to know what to do. Like if you ever see your teammates like sitting in a smoke or something, waiting to go out sight, you're probably doing something wrong. Like they should know whether they're supposed to push or not. Let's watch the rest of the round. I'm going to replay the buy phase and we'll watch the round. it's a good example of how to mid round. So pay attention to he's a little quiet, so sorry about that. The VOD's a little quiet, but pay attention to the IGL, like what he calls in the mid round after we're defaulting, and then what he comes kind of in the post plan as well.
Pack frags.
I went off solo. Do you want to get B control?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get B control, they get the ult, and then we'll make a call from there. We'll probably, I think back in this time they're gonna probably still Viper ult something here. We might do the kiss and play late if they Viper ult.
All
Are
right.
you getting your orb, Blake?
Yeah, mine. Or ordering with Cadence.
No.
I think we get your
Why
plant
don't
though.
we
You
get
pick
Kaden,
up bomb.
Get Kaden. No, get Kaden.
All right.
Because they
I'll
have
take
chamber up.
bomb later then.
Because they have chamber up, we get Kaden.
Yeah. Yeah, be patient here. He could have chamber up.
You
yeah.
want to
Yeah.
play? Let's play. Revealing area.
Yeah, he's opping.
If you're gonna try repeat it,
I blue drone. I'm holding
Alright.
left.
Fiery peaks.
Got one A.
Alright, cut noise.
Wait, he's back. He's way back.
Cut noise. Cut noise with NB.
Here, give it to me.
So notice there, we got an opening kill, and his call was to cut noise. So what does that do? Like, if you cut noise on attack, what does that do to the enemies?
They have to like use tilt to figure out where you're going.
Like it creates a
Yes.
question mark where it can be.
Yes, you're right, Jackson Patrick. You're 100% right. It is a question mark. So like looking at this example, like we have this control and we have someone holding this, and then we have mid control here. We get the kill, and from here when we cut noise, the defenders have no idea on this entire portion of the map of where we could possibly be going. They have to play all the way back here in this spot, okay? So from here, we can, if we cut noise and don't make any noise here, jumping or anything like that in main, is we can hit either site and the enemies won't be prepared for it. Or at best for them, they'll have like 2 people here, 2 people here. That's like at best, there's 2 people when we hit site. Now, alternatively, if we just chose to like pivot immediately after that kill, the enemies could maybe hear us. They could hear us through the wall here, rotating. Maybe they could hear us rotating off. Or maybe we got the kill, but we decided to hit site so quick that maybe there's still people stacked. Providing time, like basically creating a question mark and giving yourself some time to set up an actual push, means that the defenders will either have to gamble a site or they'll have to play spread out across the map. The only time you'll get destroyed is if they have a lucky guess and they guess where you're going, right? But otherwise, like most teams will just spread out and fill the gaps that were made, basically. Now, when is it a bad time to cut noise? Let me give you 2 examples, and you guys pick which is the better scenario to cut noise. Okay. Scenario 1 is we're all in B main, and we have this map control. Scenario 2 is we have map control of like all of this space. When is it better to cut noise? Scenario 1 where we have limited space, or scenario 2 where we have more space?
Scenario 2.
Scenario 2.
Yeah. So this could be applied to any map, right? If like bind, the rotate, like the teleporter allows you to pivot more easily. But if you have very limited space, like you only have long control, but like, you know, you got a kill or you got man advantage or something, you need to like take teleport and like go, or you need to just go out site. But if you are defaulting and like you have control of, you know, like in our default, we'll have like, let's see, like this control, and then like up here, actually more like here, and then like kind of here. If we have control of like all of this space, if we get an opening kill or get killed, we can actually cut noise and pivot somewhere else more easily. But if we were pushed back all the way to like, you know, here or just in one of these, like cutting noise when you have limited map control is just, you're just asking to get flanked. That's the point. or contained.